What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Cubs on Tap. I'm your host, Cody. Follow me on Twitter at Cody on Tap. I'm joined tonight, of course, with my good friend Joe Maris. Follow him on Twitter at Joe on Tap. We're back. It's been a couple weeks. Not much has changed in terms of baseball. It's not exactly how do I say this, Joe?
It's not going great.
It's not great. I guess you could technically say it's not great, but Joe, we have a huge guest tonight, man. A huge guest tonight.
Big time.
Let's just go ahead and throw it out there that it is the first major league player that we've ever had on the podcast. Like,
probably
ever.
the best honor he's had in his career. But
perhaps.
This is awesome. This gets you perked up when I found out. So I know a bunch of people on Twitter were excited too.
Hell yeah. Twitter was blowing up today about it. Before we get to it, I want to tell everyone, head on over to our YouTube channel right now or to our Facebook page so you can drop a comment and join the conversation because we got Justin Steele coming on, and I'm going to give everyone a few seconds here before I bring him in here. Because I want everyone to get over to our YouTube page. Make sure you're subscribing to our YouTube page as well, On Tap Sportsnet. Again, follow it there. You can follow on Facebook and obviously on Twitter as well. We can't see your comments on Twitter as much as we appreciate everyone watching on Twitter. If you want us to see your comments, head over to our YouTube or Facebook account. So, Joe, anything else I missed before I bring him in?
No, I think let's get to what everyone's here for.
All right, man. Well, there he is. Cubs pitcher.
How we doing, guys?
I'm good, man. We're good. We're happy you're here. I'm just gonna say it, man. I was a little surprised you answered the DM, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Of course, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Like I said, first major league pitcher we've had on the podcast. We've had a few minor leaguers. I know Cole Franklin's been on here before we went live. We told you we had DJ Hers. I know Cole Roederer has been on this podcast.
I was just playing 2K with Cole Franklin. I was just playing some 2K with Cole.
I hear. It's not that I hear. I actually see you're like good friends with him. I saw you guys went golfing the other day on Instagram.
Yeah, we've been golfing twice now. That the day we took a picture is at TPC Scottsdale. That was a lot of fun.
Nice. Yeah. I was jealous because of the weather and it's freezing cold here. You're out in Arizona right now.
Yeah. I don't know how y'all do it out there.
It's something, man.
You catch a tail end of it in April.
Yeah, and it's not comfy. It's not comfy out there, especially when the wind's cooking.
Yeah, but it could be a benefit though in April, especially if that wind's blowing in though.
Yeah, if the wind's blowing in, yeah, you can give up them deep fly balls and they'll stay in the park. Yeah.
Man, Joe, where do you want to start, man? Because I have so many questions. And just I'm also like Justin, he DM'd us and was like, hey, send me some questions you guys plan to like ask because I just want to be a little prepared. And Joe, you know how I am, man. I'm very free flowing. Like we just kind of go with it. So you're the one who send the questions and I'm going to kind of let you dictate where we're starting because usually one of us asks a question and then it just kind of goes all over the place.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think a good place to start. You said you're out in Arizona. Obviously, you can't have interactions with the actual organization. So are you just kind of there doing your own thing? Obviously, you have a guideline of what they want you to do, but you can't have much communication with them.
Yeah, so it's been me, Abbott, and Brad Wick. We're training at a facility out here in Arizona. We meet up there every day. We throw, and then we kind of go through our workouts. Yeah, I have a trainer from back home that sends me my workouts for the day. So he'll just send me a screenshot of what I'm supposed to do all that day. And, I go in, I do my foam roll and get ready to throw. We do what we have on the agenda, whether it's long toss. Tuesdays and Fridays are bullpen days. So me and Abbott's in the process of getting built up and whatnot. So we've been doing that. But yeah, and then the workouts are kind of just dictated around like when the bullpens are and, how hard you go and how they'll coordinate the workout.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it kind of just answered my next question here was, what are you prepared for? You kind of unintentionally answered it there. You're preparing, it seems like, to be a starting pitcher with Adbert as opposed to with Brad Wick.
Yeah, I mean, the way I'm kind of looking at it is like if I'm going in and I'm prepared to throw 3 to 5 innings, however far I end up getting built up. It's easier to go down from 5 to 1 innings or 2 innings than rather to be ready for only 1 or 2 innings and try to build up to 5. So that's kind of where my head is with all that. So I'm just going to be prepared to throw 5+ innings. And if I end up, being in the bullpen, that's an easy adjustment to make.
Mm-hmm. Is that something that's probably going to get felt out through spring training if there is one?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had any contact, so I have no idea. So, I mean, like I said, I'm just going in prepared to throw 5+.
Sorry, these are things that are just. Go ahead, Cody. Go ahead.
It has to be weird because this is like your first spring training. Like when you go, at least it's going to be your first spring training where you're going to be on the major league roster, and like on opening day. And so with this whole lockout and everything, it has to I guess make it a little bit of a bummer because you just don't know. We don't know. And so I feel like I don't necessarily think it's affecting you as a player or anything like that, but I'm sure mentally it's kind of at least a little taxing because you're thinking about it all the time, I'm assuming, because spring training is coming up, man. I know me and Joe were very scared about how if there's going to be games pushed back and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea. I try not to, read all the Twitter headlines about the lockout and stuff. I go to work, go to my workouts, get my throwing in, do everything I need to do, and I come home and I play video games and spend time with my girlfriend Libby.
Yeah.
So I mean,
he's a hard hat, lunch pail type guy. Yeah, he just goes to work and comes home.
That's definitely how I am.
I love that. That us here at On Tap Sportsnet love that. We very much I don't know if you would qualify it as blue collar, but to me, it's very blue collar.
Yeah, I definitely know what you mean.
Yeah,
you go to work and you come home and you leave the work behind you.
yeah,
exactly.
What video games are you playing?
I've been playing 2K and I've been playing Apex a lot.
Okay,
been starting to get on the 2K grind with Jensen and Cole.
What's your position? What you doing? Creative player? Or you just playing online or what?
Yeah, we all have our my players. I have a big center. He's a what's the title? It's a facilitating 2-way 3-level finisher or something like that. It's just an out.
Nikola Jokic.
He does a little. Yeah, it does a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I like that. 2K's got to a point now where you I remember 5-6 years ago, you could create a player on 2K and make them a 99 overall within the first 2 weeks of having the game, and they were everyone would make them 7 feet tall and just a guard and everything and can do everything. And now it's completely different. Yeah, you have to be a certain type of guard or a certain type of center. So
what's your setup temporary?
Yeah, it's just a little desk I put together and just have my monitor and my PlayStation on it.
I just got all this stuff here.
Yeah, that's a nice setup.
It took a while. And a very
Joe's really proud of it. He's shown us the last couple.
I put up these TVs. Yeah, a very generous fiance.
Yeah.
I wish MLB The Show would take a page out of 2K's book with how they do the My Player and how you're able to play with everybody else, maybe different positions. I think that
would be cool.
I think MLB The Show, if they did something like that, it'd be a hit.
Yeah. That's a good point. I mean, I feel like it'd be a little bit tougher because you need more players in baseball, but
yeah,
hell, I think that would definitely grow the game, as everyone likes to say.
Yeah, and if say there's not a position being filled, just throw a computer there. If it's 6-on-6, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah,
that would be cool. Yeah, they said Shohei Ohtani's going to be the cover, right?
Yeah, I saw that. That's kind of what made me think about it.
There's a big miss. Big miss by them not doing the show with just SHO.
Yeah, I agree. I saw that on Twitter, actually. Someone making fun of that.
Right.
Have you seen the MVP edition cover, Joe?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's sick.
It's kind of like a cartoon version of him.
Yeah, it's like a cartoon version.
Yeah, I've seen that. It was pretty sick.
Yeah. Shohei Ohtani, honestly, I wish he was in the Midwest or on the East Coast, at least. That way it would be a lot easier to watch him, because having to stay up till 9 or 10 o'clock at night to watch the Angels play is annoying. I don't want to do that.
The Cubs were in on them, at least somewhat.
Wow, like way back when, yes, they were.
Right,
I was
right.
all in.
He's unbelievable. He's
He is
so good at baseball.
so good, yeah. So you mentioned earlier about Adbert, and I know like Marquis did this whole bit on your relationship with Adbert. I don't remember when. I just remember they tweeted some videos or did a story about it, and
Hmm.
I've always found it interesting because you two, like, just based off what we know about both of you, you guys are like complete different people. So to hear that you're telling me that you guys are working out and you guys are super close and stuff, like, I think it's super cool because you know I don't know. I just feel like you don't see that a lot, not necessarily just in sports, but just in like everyday life. You know what I mean? So, kind of like how did that all start? How did you become super close with him?
Yeah, so I mean, I was drafted in 2014 by the Cubs, and that was when he came over from Venezuela and started his professional career with the Cubs here in America. And yeah, we were both 18 in rookie ball in the
Mhm.
rotation in rookie ball, and then we went to Eugene together. And I mean, we pitched in the same rotation for like 4 consecutive years. So I mean, we just built a really good relationship through
Okay.
those 4 years, and I mean, yeah, we've kind of just came up through the ranks, through the system together, and now that we're in the big leagues together, we're not going to stop hanging out, stop talking, and all that stuff. So we've just been really good friends for a really long time.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it was just easy when I got out here. I just hit him up, was like, "Hey, where you working out at? Let's start training together and stuff." So yeah, it's one of my definitely one of my best friends.
You love to see that. Love to
Cool.
see it. Mike Dubs. I don't know if you've seen this account on Twitter, Justin. He's a huge fan of the Cubs, but he says, "What player would you love to pitch against, living or dead?"
Um, the fact that he threw the living or dead in there makes me want to pick somebody that's past. So like Babe Ruth. I think Babe Ruth would be pretty cool just to say it.
Going left on
Lefty on
left.
lefty. Yeah,
Yeah, lefty lefty. And then
yeah,
maybe I get to face him since he was a pitcher.
What side do you
yeah.
That'd
swing
be
from?
cool. Yeah, I'm lefty.
Lefty.
Are you? Are you a little bummed that the DH is probably going to come to NL, or are you okay with it?
A little bummed. I really enjoyed swinging it.
I love that, honestly.
I I had 2 hits last year, and
Oh
I like
yeah,
to think that I can swing it. So I like getting in there and
it
competing in
is
the box.
unfortunate.
But
Wasn't one of those hits though? Didn't you get hurt like at second base on one of
no,
those?
so that one was a bunted, and they got the guy out at second, and I got on at
Oh
first, and then I like ran around the bases, and like when I was coming home, they kind of pulled on me or whatever, and
yeah.
then yeah, but on both my hits though, I didn't no injuries.
Okay. It's been so long I
Yeah.
couldn't remember. I just remember when you got hurt and I was like, God damn it, bring the DH to the NL already. Cause it's like every time something like that happens, it makes me so mad. As much as I love watching like hitters like who are actually good at hitting or pitchers who are actually good at
Whoa,
hitting, it's just
shots.
it's like, man, like they're here to throw heat and get guys out at the end of the day. So it's just like it's frustrating, but
Mhm.
I do appreciate the pitchers who do their best to hit and who actually practice it.
You
So
take pride in it.
yeah,
Yeah, we
Yeah,
lived
I
with
work.
Jose Quintana, who did. I remember his first couple at bats, he had his elbow guard on the wrong on the wrong arm, and you're like, oh boy,
yeah, I
get this
remember
guy out
that
of the
too.
box. But you got
Yeah,
Jake Arrieta in there, and you're like, well, we got a chance.
yeah,
Yeah, I like actually get in the cage and like take swings and stuff.
Yeah,
Like when I'm home, me and Ethan Hearn always hit in the cage, so I really enjoy it. I like that part of the game.
hell yeah. Cub Zone, he's a big account on Twitter too. He jumped in. He says, "Imagine getting your first MLB hit against Corbin Burns." I didn't know that. That's.
yeah, I didn't know
I
that
bet
either.
you're
That's
gonna
awesome.
take that to like you're gonna be telling your kids about that one day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I got the
Cy
ball
Young
still
Award.
from that.
Yeah.
That was my first hit too. It was definitely. I think he had like a inning streak going of like consecutive innings without a hit or something crazy, and I was like the first
Yeah.
one or something. So that was pretty cool. Definitely something.
Yeah, he already had that
I'll
inning in
meet.
his book.
Yeah, I'll meet somebody random, and I don't even tell them I'm a pitcher first. I just say like I got to hit off Corbin Burns.
Yeah, he's like, I play for the Cubs, but I got to hit off Corbin Burns. just a stud hitter. You play left field,
Dude,
stuff
he's
like
just
that.
Corbin Burns is so nasty. I love watching him pitch.
Yeah, I unlike you, I don't like watching him pitch, man, because it's not
It's
fun as a Cubs fan.
Yeah.
It's
Well, then
very
watching
frustrating.
just the whole year against the Brewers was just not the most fun.
Yeah.
He's good though. You gotta respect
Oh
it.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure. Our guy Joey Ricotta, he's in the comments. He said, "I remember listening to that on the radio. Pat and Ron were super hyped when he got the hit. I would love to go find that. If you got that audio to that, I'd love to hear it."
It was first pitch of the bat. I just went up there. I was like, this is
I'm
probably gonna be the
swinging.
best pitch. This is
you
gonna be
got nothing
probably
to
the best
lose.
pitch. It's probably the
Yeah.
best pitch I'm gonna get. So I'm gonna swing at it.
Right. What other questions? We're getting a lot of comments. Thanks to everyone in the stream right now. Tyler Edmonds, he says, "What pitcher did you try to copy yourself after when you were younger?"
Tom Glavine. That was my favorite pitcher growing up. He was on that Braves team when I was a kid growing up, and I was kind of a Braves fan the younger days of my baseball watching career. And then as I got older, I went over to the Phillies because I went to a ball game and Jimmy Rollins gave me a ball.
Oh,
But Tom Glavine was my favorite pitcher to watch growing up. I really liked the way he attacked hitters.
yeah. No, I'm growing up too. I mean, watching the Braves were so easy because they're on they're on TBS all the time, so you could watch them
TBS.
anyway. They're like the Cubs who were on WGN, not anymore, but they were obviously. And watching him, Maddox, and Smoltz was. I feel like as a kid, I definitely took it for granted because you just don't see anything like that anymore.
Absolutely. That rotation was stacked.
Yeah. So you grew up a little bit of a Braves fan, and then you moved to the Phillies because Jimmy Rollins gave you a ball at a game?
Yeah, I went to the game to watch the Braves, and they were playing the Phillies, and I sat out there and was waiting for just BP asking for a ball, and didn't get one from the Braves, and then the Phillies came out, and as soon as the Phillies came out, Jimmy Rollins gave me a ball, so switched up just like that.
Wow. I guess it's easier to just flip on teams like that. I couldn't do that for the Cubs, man. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, I was just a little kid.
Right.
It's always
just
how
things
go.
Like
I heard a story from a kid. He didn't like baseball. He went to a minor league game with his grandpa. Got hit in the head with a guy who swung and let go of his bat, and he's like, baseball fan the rest of my life.
No way.
The bat knocked the fandom into him. It's just some crazy story. Like that.
Yeah.
It was Pablo Sandoval's brother.
Really?
That's what he said. Yeah.
Wow. I've never heard that story.
No. As a kid, I used to play with.
Okay. Other questions. Let's see. Oh, Tyler Edmonds had one more. He said, "If you could trade one of your current pitches with another current player's pitch, whose would it be?"
I would change my changeup for Devin Williams' changeup.
Yeah.
You're a big fan of the Brewers pitching staff, man.
Yeah, they got some guys over there with some nasty stuff.
Yeah,
Devin Williams really just him and then
and when you think changeups in baseball, you think Devin Williams, and that's yes.
Yeah. Speaking of the Brewers, man, I remember you got called up. What was it? It was was it late April or early May?
April. It was April.
Yeah. And I remember, I'll admit, I knew who you were coming up through the ranks, but I just really hadn't heard a lot about you. And I'll just admit it, man. If you're not getting pinned with any kind of ranking, then I won't automatically just go and research everything about you. That's no knock against you. It's just me as a fan. And I guess that's the problem with fans, right? Because they don't even want to give you a chance if you don't have any kind of notoriety, right? But I had known who you were, and I was like, all right, power lefty. We don't have a lot of those. He could be something. And I remember, I think the Cubs were, I don't remember. I think the Cubs were getting blown out in Milwaukee. Unfortunately, the Milwaukee kicked our ass a lot last year. And you came in, and I remember just thinking that you were like the one bright spot of that game, and that's when you got me. I was like, this guy, he looks like something that like we could utilize in the future. And I don't know, man. Like, when did you feel like you were like here and here to stay? Like, was there ever a moment or what? Like, to me, like that outing in Milwaukee was like, all right, Justin Steele is going to start getting more
Yes,
appearances in like bigger situations.
the outing in Milwaukee, that would have been my debut when I first got called up, and I remember warming up in that situation. I was like got on the mound to start warming up to go in the game, and I kind of had like thought to myself like, "Yep, like this is about to happen." About to log my first inning of Major League Baseball in. So and then I kind of just got in my game mode and started getting mentally prepared, going over the hitters, and just started warming up in the bullpen, and then just went out there and did what I've always done, my whole entire life. So just kept it right there. And then that the outing against the Dodgers when I came in and the I guess it was top 9.
Yeah.
And there was either 1 or 2 runners on, something like that, and I got 3 outs. It was either 1 or 2 strikeouts, but I ended it on a strikeout, and that moment right there was kind of like, I can pitch at this level. I belong here. That was definitely a confidence booster.
That was
Yeah,
definitely a great series.
your emotion off the mound after that was you were like, yeah, I'm a bad fucking man. Like that's what it looked like as you were walking off the mound. I was like, this guy, he knows he belongs now. Like that was another moment. I like to think that it was a little bit before that I was like, this guy has something. We're not really sure yet. The Cubs aren't putting him in like high leverage spots, but that was like the game against the Dodgers was one of those moments where they gave you a high leverage spot and you took full advantage of it.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the moments in my career I'll always remember. It was definitely very special. It was very cool.
I think Cody's being generous here and ignoring the fact that was the series you guys swept the Dodgers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the doubleheader that day.
Yeah, that was so. It was the game Keegan Thompson pitched. All right, I remember that was just a great. We got to see both you and Keegan Thompson really burst onto the stage. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Watching you guys was definitely the highlight of the series or the year. But Cody put out a promise on Twitter that if the Cubs swept the Dodgers, he would eat a whole jar of mayonnaise.
Did you do it?
I did do it. The video is
look
on.
Like you don't feel good about it.
People are still bringing it up, man. Like people are probably counting down to the anniversary, and they're gonna expect me to do it again in May. Yeah, no, it has like, I don't know. Last I checked, it had like 1,200 views. I went live. I did it live. I did this live video of me eating a jar of mayonnaise, and I think before that series, it was the most pessimistic I've been about the Cubs in like 7 years. And because Joe, I think you would agree that I'm a pretty optimistic Cubs fan. Like I'm always like all in, like we're gonna find a way and get it done type mentality. Because I feel like that's just what part of being a Cubs fan is, considering our history and everything. But I was so mad at the Cubs in like April because our offense was just. It felt like it was Chris Bryant or nothing on offense. It felt like most of the time. I mean, they like led the league in strikeouts and all this stuff. And so I was just like going into that Dodgers series, I didn't feel great. So yeah, I remember me and Ron, who isn't here, I wish he was here, we were doing a post game, and I was like, Ron, if the Cubs sweep the Dodgers, I'm going to eat a bottle or a whole entire bottle of mayonnaise. And a couple double headers and then winning 1 9-inning game later, it's like, holy fucking, like it was that might have been like my viral moment on the internet. Just this random night.
That was a great series. That was probably the best 3-game set of the year. Sweeping the Dodgers face and Kershaw.
Yeah, that was huge. That was yeah, it was fun to be a part of that series. Mm-hmm. Like tensions were high. We're like still in the race. It was
early. It was still early,
series,
you know.
Yeah. I was at the first game of the doubleheader of the year for
me. What do you call it? Did you like? I know obviously last year was your first year, but like when you see Cubs fans just like treating a random game in like May, because that Dodgers game was in May, it was like very beginning of May, and the way that you got out of that inning, I don't know, maybe I don't watch enough around the league, but I feel like a reaction like Cubs fans gave after that moment and how people still talk about it whenever your name's brought up, like, does that, like, I don't know, does that make you feel even prouder to play for the Cubs, or is it something that
Oh
you
yeah,
notice, something
absolutely.
you definitely notice, anything like that?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. The Cubs fans are the best fans of baseball. I mean, I haven't been a part of any other organization, but I mean, just how loyal the fans are. Doesn't matter what's going on. You know, they're going to be at Wrigley when we're playing there. You know, cheering us on. I mean, it's so much fun to show up to that ballpark every day and play in front of them fans. You know,
Yeah,
it's really special. Something special there.
for sure. Yeah, I agree. I live 2.3 miles away, and I wish I lived closer, to be honest.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's a beautiful
Yeah,
place.
yeah, yeah. Joe, we've kind of gotten away from your list of questions. You got any
Yeah,
others for us?
let's dive back in. I know you mentioned Cody mentioned earlier is that before you came up, the Cubs have a lack of left-handed pitching, and I'm not sure if there were any other left-handed pitching starters that started the game last year. You may have been the only one. Um, what
I just wanted to
what
throw out
is
that comment.
so now the Cubs have Wade Miley coming in. I'm sure you haven't really gotten a chance to talk to him, but are you looking forward to maybe getting a chance to learn from him? He's stuck around the league a long time, just developing new things as he gets older, and just excited to learn from him.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely want to, try and pick up on the way he throws his cutter because I had a bat against him and I was trying to bunt and he was throwing that cutter and I couldn't even bunt it. I was like, this is the most frustrating thing I've ever had to do. So I'm definitely going to ask him about his cutter. But yeah, just a guy that's like him, a veteran that's been around the league. I think he's a Southern guy as well, so it'd be easy to spark up a conversation with him. But yeah, I'm looking forward to learning from him. Anybody that I'm around every day, whether they're throwing bullpens or doing whatever, I like to sit in and watch and just see how they attack different things. Because I mean, there's always something to learn from everybody.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, what if he's an Auburn guy though? I know you're a big Bama fan.
I mean, we can talk a little smack to each other if he's an Auburn fan, but
Isn't Keegan
I
Thompson an
think
Auburn
he's
guy?
yeah, Keegan likes Auburn. He went to school there.
Oh,
Right.
did he?
But
Okay.
I want to say
And so did David Ross.
Wade Miley's from Louisiana, so he might be an LSU fan.
LSU guy, probably then.
David Ross is an Auburn guy too, isn't he?
Yeah. David
Yeah.
Ross is an Auburn guy.
They're everywhere. You can't turn your back.
That's all right.
He's got the what, like 7 or 8? Am I off here? I don't know how many there are. Justin, I'm gonna let you know. I love gambling on college football, and I took Alabama in the national championship game. I think the spread was 3 points. Am I correct there, Joe?
Yeah,
The spread was
something
3
like that.
points, and I took Alabama with the sole fact that they were just Alabama. It's like I can't bet against Nick Saban, and
Well,
even
you saw
though
our wide receiver got hurt.
Yeah.
Jamison Williams got hurt, and he was
That was a tough one.
he was our offensive weapon.
he
And
was,
they lost Mechie before that too.
yeah.
Yeah.
And either way, what I was getting at is like after I lost and like Alabama lost and everything, and I lost my bet. I went to bed like still like okay with it. I was like, if I would have bet Georgia and Alabama would have won, I just would have been mad. I would have absolutely hated
You'd have been mad at
entire,
yourself.
I would have hated myself. So that's how I feel about Alabama football. As much as like I'm a Big Ten guy, but I mean, like Alabama's, they're something that I don't think we'll ever see again in college athletics, honestly.
Yeah, it's all right. I wasn't too upset about the game. I mean, it was fun to watch, and then
Yeah.
as long as we have Nick Saban, I feel like we'll always have a chance. So
Must be nice to have
until he decides to retire,
Yeah. Tyler Edmonds back in the comments. Thanks for following along, man. He asks, what's your go-to on road trips? Obviously, you're a gamer, which he asked about, or if you're a movie guy, Netflix. What are you watching? You already told us what you're playing, man.
Yeah, I mean, go-to on road trips is definitely video games, whatever game's hot at the moment. But what I watch on Netflix, Been watching a little bit of Ozark since the new season just came out. Was kind of into that. I mean, I used to watch Breaking Bad. That was a awesome
That's one of the
show.
greatest
I'm
shows.
sure everybody's seen that
Mhm.
at this point. Such a great show.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the go-to on road trips is definitely video games.
Hell yeah. Are you do you I mean I know you said on 2K you're online a lot, but like on the road I'm assuming you can't play online on the road. So like what do you like whether you're playing what are you playing then?
Oh no, I mean I travel with all my stuff. Like I have it in my backpack, and whatever hotel room we go to, I just plug
Oh,
it in.
okay.
And
So
Okay.
you're the
yeah,
guy. So you're the guy who supplies it for everybody, or does everybody bring their own?
yeah.
Wow.
I mean, most people
That's
bring
true.
their own.
That's true dedication, honestly. Okay. I like that.
That's what we do when we used to go on trips for, when I was in high school and college. You get somebody, you're like, all right, who's taking this? Who's taking that? But you guys got to do it every
Yeah,
week.
Yeah.
I always keep my PlayStation on me.
There's nothing wrong with, having that one thing you always take with you. It tells you a lot about someone who does something like that. Yeah. Oh
Who
my
was
gosh.
who was your roommate for the season?
We didn't have roommates once.
Oh,
Like there's just COVID and different things.
right.
Didn't have roommates this year. Yeah, just had my own room, so it was
That must have
nice.
been nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where, if you don't mind me asking, what area of Lakeview Wrigley did you live in?
I lived a little towards the lake from Wrigley
Okay.
in an apartment right there. It was nice, nice little stroll to the field every morning. You know, it was nice walking to the office, have a
Mhm.
cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Do they get you set up with all that stuff? Or you got to find it yourself.
I mean, they like have some suggestions for
Right.
you and stuff, but for the most part, it's on your own.
That's nice. I one of my favorite after game moments I've had, I was leaving. It was actually the night the Cubs snapped the 11 game losing streak they had last year. Alec Mills pitched that game, and I was with my buddy I work at with my day job, and we were walking down Clark, and next thing I know, I see Alec Mills on his like electric scooter, or maybe
Yeah.
it's a motor scooter. He is on some scooter though, but he's at the corner of Waveland and Clark. And like no one realizes that it's him, but he's just chilling there waiting for the light to turn green. And I'm like, oh hey Alec, great game tonight, man. He's just like, thanks, brother. And I'm like, I've been a giant fan of him since. I mean, I was already a fan, but like the way he said it was like the most like Alec Mills, what I would think in my head type of person that he is. Like he said it in the most Alec Mills way for me, at least.
Yeah, he's great. I can see him like picturing him on the scooter right now. That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah. He's
so.
Go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
I was just say back into the questions. The Cubs had, unfortunately ran through a ton of catches last season with Contreras kind of dealing with injuries and whatnot, and just not being able to shore up the backup catcher spot. So I'm sure you're super excited that Yan Gomes has come in, and hopefully that will help keep Contreras healthy. But what was it like? You don't know necessarily who you're going to throw to on a certain day. So what's that kind of like?
Yeah, me and Wilson started building a connection. He caught me a handful of times up in Chicago when I was starting and relieving. PJ Higgins came up for a little
Mhm.
bit. He caught me a few times. He's been catching me and Abbott since we were in South Bend together. So, a lot of familiarity there. And then, I'm excited to throw to Jan Gomes as well. Been watching him for years play baseball. So, looking forward to building a relationship with him. Getting used to seeing him back there, throwing pitches to him, going through hitters, different situations. It's always fun to learn how somebody, thinks when they're catching, and vice versa with me. But yeah, I'm looking forward to all that.
Yeah. Is there really a thing behind like the whole like, oh, he only pitches well whenever this guy's the catcher? Like, I feel like just off the top of my head, like there's always been a thing with Lucas Giolito and how he only pitches well whenever it's not Yasmani Grandal behind the plate. And I'm trying to understand like if that's a real thing or what, because Lucas Giolito is one of the best pitchers in the league, but for some reason he only pitches well when it's not Yasmani Grandal behind the plate. Like, is that a thing, or is that I don't know.
I mean,
Is it a mental thing?
you definitely like build relationships with catchers, especially the more you throw to them. The more hitters you face with a catcher, the more they're going to get used to the way you want to attack them. And then you just start thinking on the same page. So like me and PJ, for instance, like he caught me for 3 or 4 years in the minors, so we faced a lot of hitters together. So we were kind of always on the same page.
Okay.
And then like if you throw a catcher in there that it's never caught you, there's going to be some like mess ups, like where he's putting down signs, I'm shaking, it's not going to go as smoothly as if he was with somebody else. So, I mean, as far as that goes, yeah, you just build relationships with different catchers and stuff. And I mean, that's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's just always very interesting when you see like the splits, I guess, for pitchers numbers with certain catchers behind the plate,
I'm sure some pitchers care about it more than others. It's just probably just it's a personal thing.
Yeah, it's a personal preference for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Like, the whole reason we got David Ross was John Lester, at least on the surface.
True.
That's what it seemed like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on the surface.
And boy, did that work out.
Yeah.
They were pretty good together.
Yeah, I would say so. There's a guy from Facebook. We haven't had a Facebook comment. Charles, he says, what kind of advice, input have you gotten from veteran pitchers like Kyle Hendricks? I'm trying to think of other pitchers that are veterans for the Cubs right now, but obviously Kyle Hendricks is a big name. I know you guys are two different pitchers, so I don't know how much is there. Maybe it's just getting used to being around the league and stuff like that. But what do I know?
I mean, just talking to different pitchers, you just see how different people think about the games and like how they attack hitters. And, it's always good to have ongoing conversations throughout the games. Like, I'll turn to Abbott or Kyle and be like, how would you attack this guy right now? Say somebody in the lineup's hot right now, like ask one of them how they would go about facing them in the current situation and stuff. So, I mean, there's something to learn from every single person, whether it's, Kyle, Abbott, Alec Mills, Keegan, just anybody, looking forward to building relationships with other guys too. That's what it's all about, something to learn from every single person.
Did you learn from Adbert when to not tip your cap to the crowd like he did his first?
I gave him some shit for that.
Everyone gave him some shit.
That was a good
time. I just remember when he was coming off the field. I think, or after that game, whenever they were all shaking hands, because I think the Cubs won that night. Everyone was like tipping their cap. Yeah.
That's funny. That's good stuff.
Yeah. Those are like the little things about baseball that makes me love it so much. It's nothing like too crazy or anything, but for some reason I eat that shit up so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get caught up in stuff, just like we were talking about how that game against the Dodgers. I mean, you just let it go sometimes. he was probably just for him, it's probably just him in the crowd.
Yeah.
He didn't think he's got to go back to a dugout of teammates who are like, "What are you doing?"
Everybody's got their thing.
Yeah. So here's a question I just thought of. What outside of Wrigley Field, because obviously you love playing at Wrigley Field, but what park on the road did you like the most last season?
I really liked Pittsburgh's field, PNC. I liked their field with the bridge and the backdrop and everything. San Diego's field was really cool. I liked Philadelphia's ballpark. It was pretty cool. And then Miami was sick. I mean, every time I go to one, I like to take a picture just to have it, just to look back on it and remember it.
Okay. Yeah, no, I've never been to PNC, and I've been outside the park in San Diego, but the Padres weren't in town when I was out there. But that one, like that entire neighborhood, honestly, I mean, San Diego's a beautiful city anyway, but that's a park I definitely want to go to one day. So
yeah, it's gorgeous, definitely.
Yeah. Joe, any other questions, man?
Yeah, this last one here is Dana Central has some pretty good right-handed hitters. Most of them seem to like they come from the Cardinals. Like they got Tyler O'Neill, Paul Goldschmidt, and Nolan Arenado. So out of those guys, just anyone in the division, who's the one that you feel like just gives you fits? I know you haven't had a backlog facing these guys a ton, but those guys are pretty darn good hitters.
Yeah, that Cardinals lineup when they were on that 17-game win streak, they were a tough lineup to face. I mean, they just have guys like during that stretch, like if you made a mistake over the heart of the plate, they were crushing it, and they were just locked in at that time. So definitely that period, that was a tough lineup to face.
Yeah, it feels like Paul Goldschmidt hits a home run every single time. It's
Yeah, you got
good ball player.
Yeah. Paul Goldschmidt, he's one player that I feel like no one talks about enough when it comes to, I guess, in terms of being like properly rated. I feel like he's underrated, but he's also been noted as one of the best first basemen in baseball the last decade. It's just like no one talks about him though. It just doesn't really I don't really understand.
Yeah, he just quietly goes about his business.
Yeah. I that's the nicest thing I'll ever say about Paul Goldschmidt since he plays for a team I hate. Here, before we let you go, Justin, we have a Slack channel for On Tap in our Cubs Slack channel. And when I told everyone we're talking to you today, this guy by the name of Marty Lavelle, who he's a contributor, he went deep into your Instagram, and he found a post you made like on the day after the Cubs won the World Series, and you have this long hair.
Yeah.
And so his question is when are you going to bring it back? Because I also am wondering if when you're bringing it back, because this is impressive stuff, man.
I might, if I do it and it doesn't have a whole lot of outs in it, then it's got to get chopped off.
I feel like the fans would love it. I feel like they would get up for it. I don't know like how you did it because you're wearing a hat in the picture, so I don't exactly know what it looks like, but like maybe get a little mullet going. Let's just throw it back to the 90s, you know what I mean? Like
we'll see. I might dabble with it.
Yeah. If you do it, I'm going to take full credit for it, just to let you know.
Absolutely.
Cool. Joe, any other questions, man?
I think just one thing that I was really curious about is that whole. So you and Keegan both, you started in the bullpen, and obviously you came up as a starting pitcher, but the Cubs saw that they needed another guy to the bullpen, and you had great success to start your major league career. But they're like, well, it's time for him to make that transition into the starting rotation, and they sent you back down. How eager were you to get back to the big leagues?
Oh yeah, I remember I was doing everything I could to try and get back up there because
we missed you.
Yeah, it definitely made me more hungry to get back up there.
Yeah,
just thinking.
I think that was the most minor league baseball I paid attention to. Was waiting for you and Keegan.
It was the most I had paid attention to in at least 7 years as well. Like, I feel like that was like what 2021 was like, kind of like an eye opener. Like, man, like here we go. What's going on in AAA? Oh, Brennan Davis had another home run tonight. Cool, like that's great. You love to see that.
Got used to seeing that.
Yeah. He's gonna be something special. I feel like so. I'm excited to see.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Yeah. Is there any? Go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
I'll just say we got a lot to look forward to. We just got to hope this lockout ends.
Yeah. What is there a pitcher down in the farm that maybe no one's not talking about? Kind of like how I said about you and how like I knew who you were, but like didn't really, talk about right away just because of notoriety. And is there one out down there that you feel like no one's really talking about?
I mean, I just haven't really been around anybody lately. Everybody that was around at the alt site, they kind of end up making it up. And then before that, I mean, that was the alt site. That was last season. Season before that was the COVID year. Yeah, I mean, I really don't have anything. I mean, I know Cole Franklin and Jensen are pretty damn good. And I play golf with them.
I'm sure we're all going to be super excited with Jordan Wicks, too. Hopefully you get a chance to talk with him.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to meet him yet.
Yeah, two lefties right there in the rotation in, say, a year or two. Yeah, I feel like the more lefties, the better. I love watching southpaws pitch.
Oh, yeah.
So
appreciate that.
I'm not just saying that because you're here. I'm not just saying it because you're here.
Left-handers are notoriously a little stranger, though. You seem to be an exception, but hey, we've all seen it.
Yeah,
I've heard that before.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if Joe asked this, but like, is there one thing this off season that you've been working on that maybe you felt like you weren't, that you struggled a lot with, and like last season? Is there one thing that you've been trying to, I guess, shore up or fix or even change?
Just working on commanding all my pitches to different sides of the plate. Just working on my location with different pitches. That's kind of been my main focus this off season.
Yeah, that's all you can do, man. Just put in the work. You definitely come off as someone who is, doesn't take anything for granted. I don't want to say it took you forever. I mean, you drafted 2014, and then it's a process. But I mean, again, to watch how you've gone up the ranks is something really, I think it's really impressive, because there's a lot of minor leaguers who've just kind of given up a lot. You know what I mean? I remember David Bodie almost like retired, and then he somehow got a chance, and now he's on the team. Like
it's definitely a grind.
Contract.
Minor leagues is definitely a grind.
For
it's
sure.
A beautiful game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful game.
For sure. All right, Justin. Well, hey, I got one more question, and again, I was on your Instagram, and I saw you big Jordan 1 guy. So I wanted to show you my small collection. I only got 3 pairs, but I need to know which ones you got so we can like compare, and maybe I can maybe get in on some of the ones you got.
The best ones I have are the I don't even know the names of them really. I just see them and I like them. And
he just likes the colors. I like it.
Yeah, I have like a baby blue pair that are like white and baby blue, and then I have a pair that are
like
white
these?
and like yeah.
I got them too. These I got these right before Christmas. These red and black ones.
Those are sick.
Those are sick. And I don't know if you ever used the sneakers app, but I actually won on it that one time, and it was
nice.
It was like one of the greatest accomplishments of my shoe buying life. And then I got the classic red, black, and white ones.
Mm-hmm.
These are like
classics,
like 2020, so not the 1985 ones. But I just had to ask, because I know it's a trend, but I've become a pretty big fan of collecting them. They're just super expensive for me. Not too much for you, but for me, they are.
I enjoy a good pair of shoes. I like the shoe shop.
That's something that I always really respect, because if you care about what you got, in your entire, if you look good, you play good, you feel good, or you look good, you feel good.
I'm
you
a believer in
right?
that.
Oh yeah,
I'm a believer in that.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, thanks for sticking around and just listening to all of our dumb questions, man. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it.
Joe, you got anything else, man?
No, just thanks. Yeah, just thanks a lot, man. This is fun. This is just like I said at the beginning. You find out you get to talk to Justin Steele. Just it perks you up a little bit. Hopefully, we can get some more Cubs guys. But I mean,
pleasure's all mine.
It was a lot of fun getting to get some insight on some real major league stuff.
Yeah. Definitely giving us a lot of that. Yeah. Joe mentioned getting a major league pitcher in here. I don't know why. I appreciate it, but like Michael Hermosillo follows me on Twitter, and I've DM'd him a couple times, and I've tweeted at him a couple times to try to get him to come on the podcast, and he just leaves me on red, and it kind of makes me sad. But he follows me on Twitter, so I'm like, I don't know what I got to do, man. Like, do you have an in with him?
Different schedule. Everybody's got different schedules and stuff, so you never know what they got going on and stuff.
Right. No, I don't take any offense of it. I promise you, I don't take any offense of it. I feel like it's become a thing where, every couple weeks or maybe a couple months, I'll be like, all right, or not a couple months, especially in the off season, but like every couple weeks, maybe try again, see what he's up to. I know he just got engaged or something too. So he probably has a lot.
He's probably got probably just has some stuff going on.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you not having a lot of shit going on and coming here and talking to us, man.
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
Like I said, thanks for having me. It was my pleasure.
For sure, man. Everyone follow Justin over. I don't know what your handle is, man, but shit, you just search Justin Steele, you'll find him. Great.
No,
He's a big supporter of our podcast, just for
he's
walking
tagged in
home.
he's tagged in the tweet, so you can find it there if you're watching.
Yeah. He's like I was getting ready to say, he's a big fan of listening to us rant about Cubs wins or Cubs losses on his walk home from the ballpark, which is cool and tough, as we like to say here. So, all right, man. Well, I think me and Joe are going to stick around here for another 10 minutes and talk about some other stuff. But thanks again for joining us, man.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me. Y'all take it easy.
You too, man. Joe, that was awesome, man.
So Justin Steele.
Yeah, Justin Steele.
That was cool, man.
That was cool.
Just when you say like, oh, we have a big guest, I'm like, oh man, who could this be? Maybe it's Ron. Ron has been elusive lately.
yeah, he has been kind of MIA. He's been super busy doing Bears and Black.
Ron and Juice missing in action.
Missing in action. Just me and you. It's like me and you are just the only ones doing this show now.
Hey, that's fine with me.
Yeah, but yeah, man. Before we headed out, I did want to kind of talk about I guess the lockout a little bit. Just wanted to dabble. I don't know, man. I'm like we kind of talked about with Justin. I'm at the point where I have no hope. I feel like we're going to lose games, and
I don't think we're at the point of
for
losing games yet. I think we're at the point of losing spring training. Spring training, while it's a spectacle, it's not the most important thing. Like you heard Justin Steele. I mean, him and Adbert and Bradwick, they know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they need to do. Obviously, input from the team would be great if they can get it, but they can't. But they're going to do everything they can to be ready for the season, which is great. So there's optimism for that once a deal is done, whenever that is, that we can get things going pretty quickly. But I think like right before we got on here, tweets are coming around saying the MLB is not going to make a counteroffer, even though 2 days ago they said they were going to make a counteroffer. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's just like,
are they bringing in like some like federal like
something? I have no idea what it means.
Jeff Passan sends these tweets, and I honestly don't know what they mean, to be completely frank with you. Like, and if anyone actually understands what those tweets mean, like you're saying that you understand them, like explain it to me like I'm 5 years old. That's what I need you to do, because I just don't understand it.
My understanding, which I could be totally off, is like they're bringing in a third party to kind of be like, hey, these people are conducting good business. These people are not. That's, I think, I could be so wrong, but that's kind of what I think it is. Which it just like I don't understand. Like the owners are these, massive billionaires who have had to, how much business have they had to handle to get to this position? And all of a sudden they're just going silent because they want to. Like, it's just, I understand, the whole millionaire versus billionaire thing. This is just not good business. Like, it's just not, they're being shitty people.
Yeah.
They're robbing people. They're robbing people of a job. They're robbing people of entertainment.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
at the end of the day, no one is going to like feel bad for these billionaires.
Of course not. I never will. Never have, never will. I'm not going to feel bad for the millionaires either. I just want to watch them play baseball, man.
Right.
That's sure. Everybody always says millionaires versus billionaires. Who cares? I like those guys are, those guys are the ones that are the on-field product. Those are the guys that put their bodies on the line. Like I said, Justin Steele, like he's working out every single day. And I know he fortunately didn't have like an off-season injury or, a season-ending injury. Like, those guys are not able to work with their trainers right now. They had to go find new trainers. It's just like,
this like potentially could lead back to like what happened in 2021 too. You remember how last season there was a ton of injuries and stuff because pitchers weren't like ramped up normally like we were, before 2020. Like if they cut games out or whatever, like it won't affect in 2022 if we do eventually have a season, but it will in 2023. And I mean, listen, man, like if it's only a matter of time till like all like the faces of your game are going to get hurt and stuff. Like, I'm thinking like way down the road type stuff when it comes
So
to
we had
that.
Mike Trout miss the whole season, basically.
Right, right.
Obviously, not to say that had anything to do with it, but we're not helping.
Right, for sure. And like, all I'm saying is like, the more games you miss, the more it hurts the game long term more. Not only the game, but the players. It obviously hurts the fans. It's just
This is it. Guys like us, guys like me and you, guys who are people who are watching, guys who are on Twitter, they're never going to leave baseball. And for the owners, that seems to be okay. They don't care about bringing in new people.
That's bad business, brother. That's bad business. All right. Well, we got that out. I got my 2 cents out on that. I want to thank Justin Steele again for coming on the show tonight. Again, first major league pitcher or player to ever come on this show in my understanding, in my, at least in the 2 years that I've been here at On Tap, we've never had an actual major league pitcher or player, I should say. So that was cool. I'm glad, Joe, you were able to do it with me.
We don't care if there's 0 people watching. We do this stuff just because this is just stuff we love, but it's stuff like that just really gets a nice little payout, because obviously we're doing this in our free time, but it's just stuff like that just it keeps you going. It keeps you writing at midnight, obviously the off season right now, but it keeps you doing stuff like that because you're like, whoa, I just got to talk to a Chicago Cubs player, dude. It's awesome.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm with you, man. All right. Well, I guess if there is some breaking news in terms of the season, I guess we will be back sooner than you may think. I will assume that we will be back in a couple weeks. I want to say that we'll be back sooner because that means the lockout will be over. But we just really don't know, man. So till then, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in on YouTube. The comments were lit tonight. It's the most comments we had on YouTube's in a while. And the few comments on Facebook as well. Thank you to everyone for tuning in and listening. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at On Tap Sportsnet and go follow us on Facebook. And if you're here, you probably already follow us on Twitter, but make sure if you don't, to follow us there too. So you can follow me on Twitter at Cody on Tap as well, and Joe at Joe on Tap, because super on brand, as they like to say. Joe, anything else, man? Anything you like to throw out there? Any kind of just a comment about anything? You want to tell someone to fuck off? Go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
I just in spirit of talking about the owners and the owner, and just it's Rob Manfred. What the hell are you doing, man? Why are you here? At the beginning, I don't, what do I care about who the commissioner of baseball is? But in a very short amount of time, you've had the debacle that was the agreements for 2020 and the CBA for this year. Like this is horrible. Absolutely horrible. And you're very clearly taking a side. Obviously, I understand the owners are his bosses, but what are we doing here? Like, this is something that, I don't understand how that, CBA always has to come down to the wire in the first place. Why are we waiting? Like, it feels like something that should never go down to the wire like it did. I just don't understand how all that stuff happens.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just super wild. I don't know. It's going to be something that when it all plays out, we're going to see really who was holding this shit up. You know what I mean? I feel like you'd be maybe a couple days before the season, or maybe the first month of the season, we learn more about how this lockout was going and stuff like that. It all will be leaked out eventually.
We all understand it's all about money. It's not like rule changes or anything. It's all about money. It's all about how much they can pay new players. It's about when they have to pay players that have had a certain amount of service time. It's not about who can play. It's not about how they can play. It's about when they have to pay somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Spin zone. The more games we miss, the more we don't have to deal with Yadier Molina's retirement tour. So at least we have that. That's the best spin zone I can give you.
Well, and you notice how I asked him a question about the right-handed hitters and I very clearly did not say Yadier and Molina because what does that matter? I'll go face Yadier and Molina.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just had to throw that out there. I guess one thing, Justin Steele was like he really is a big fan of the Brewers pitching staff. I also need the Brewers pitching staff to like really regress next season, just so like maybe he kind of comes down to earth on it. That's just on my bias
Hey,
fans.
nothing wrong for him being a fan because those guys
No,
are
yeah.
pitchers. Anything that helps
pitchers
them,
like
helps them.
pitchers, man. Like pitchers, they'll go to war for other pitchers. It's like their own like hitters are the hitters and are friends, right? And like pitchers, they're all their own little like fraternity or something like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's my 2 cents of rants. Joey's in the comments. He's telling me that Charlotte is getting destroyed. We're talking about college basketball here. And apparently Little Rock in the Raging Cajuns over is dead. So there goes my bets for the night. It's just been a brutal week gambling. Go follow OnTap Bets where I am all over that shit too. So I guess we're gonna end this here because the Bulls game is about to start, and
They already started.
They already started. Well,
Yeah,
I'm gonna go play.
6:30.
I'm gonna go place a live bet on it and try to win.
Yeah,
some money
they're
back.
down right now by 2. They were 5-point underdogs going into this game, something like that.
I thought Levine wasn't gonna play, so that's
he's playing.
Oh, is he out there? I don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting. Anyway, everyone, thank you for listening. Go follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all that good stuff. Joe, let's get out of here the only way we know how.
Let's go Cubs.
Go Cubs.
And follow Justin Steele.
And follow Justin Steele and fuck St. Louis.